I believe so powerfully in the ability of entrepreneurial capitalism and free markets to solve so many of the world's problems. Not all of them, but so many of them.
While the world knows Jeff Bezos as the founder of Amazon, his $180 billion fortune isn't just from the e-commerce giant. Behind the scenes, Bezos has built a remarkable investment portfolio spanning revolutionary startups, space technology, media empires, and strategic real estate that most people never hear about. These hidden investments reveal a mind that thinks decades ahead and spots trends before they're obvious to the rest of us. Today, I'm taking you inside Bezos' secret investment playbook, the exact principles he uses to identify opportunities, how he structures investments to maximize returns while minimizing risks, and how you can apply these same approaches to your own finances regardless of where you're starting. These insights have the potential to completely transform your approach to building wealth. If you're ready to learn the investment secrets of one of history's greatest wealth builders, hit that subscribe button now and comment below sharing which of Bezos' investment areas fascinates you most. Let's dive into the portfolio that extends far beyond Amazon. Bezos approaches investing with a singular philosophy. I'm always looking for investments where I believe that a small investment today has the potential to return 100x. This focus on exponential rather than incremental returns sets him apart from conventional investors. Unlike many wealthy individuals who focus solely on protecting their money, Bezos maintains a dual strategy. One portion preserves wealth through stable investments, while another aggressively pursues massive returns through transformative companies and technologies. This balanced approach lets him take significant risks while ensuring his overall financial security, a strategy anyone can adapt to their own situation. Bezos' non-Amazon investments fall into 5 distinct categories, each revealing different aspects of his wealth-building strategy. His tech startup investments have transformed entire industries. That $250,000 investment in Google in 1998 became one of the most profitable private investments in tech history. He backed Uber when ride-sharing was still novel, Airbnb before home-sharing was proven, and Twitter when social media's future was uncertain. When I see a strong founder with a big vision working in a space with huge potential, that gets my attention. Bezos explained about his investment criteria. What connects these investments is Bezos' ability to identify platforms that create entirely new marketplaces or fundamentally change how existing markets function. He doesn't look for better products. He finds companies creating entirely new ways of doing business. The lesson isn't to chase pre-IPO startups, but to allocate a portion of your portfolio to companies pioneering new markets or business models, even if they appear speculative today. Bezos' commitment to space and future technologies reveals his longest time horizon. Blue Origin, founded in 2000, receives over $1 billion annually from his personal fortune. While critics dismissed it as a billionaire's hobby, Bezos saw it as humanity's future. The price of admission to space is very high, Bezos acknowledged. I'm in the process of converting my Amazon lottery winnings into something meaningful for the long term. His investments in nuclear fusion energy, blood tests for early cancer detection, and immunotherapy treatments show his willingness to fund technologies that may take decades to develop but could transform humanity's future. For everyday investors, the parallel strategy is allocating a small portion of your portfolio to companies working on humanity's biggest challenges: renewable energy, breakthrough medical treatments, or advanced computing. Bezos' media investments reveal his understanding that controlling information channels provides both financial returns and strategic influence. His $250 million purchase of The Washington Post demonstrated belief in the value of established media even as newspapers struggled financially. Under his ownership, the Post embraced digital transformation and returned to profitability. I believe in the mission of journalism, and I think it's essential for democracy, Bezos stated regarding these investments. Bezos's real estate holdings serve multiple purposes beyond luxury. His properties include a $165 million Beverly Hills estate, multiple New York City apartments worth over $100 million, a 300,000-acre Texas ranch serving as a Blue Origin base, and waterfront properties in Washington state. What makes his real estate strategy noteworthy isn't the luxury, but how these properties serve multiple purposes: personal use, business operations, and appreciation in high-demand areas with limited supply. "I don't spend money on things that don't matter," Bezos noted, "but I spend a lot on things that matter to me." For individual investors, the lesson is investing in real estate that combines appreciation potential with practical utility in locations with constrained supply and growing demand. While Bezos takes big risks with certain investments, he also maintains sophisticated wealth preservation strategies. His foundation manages philanthropic giving while providing tax advantages, family offices handle day-to-day financial operations, and he utilizes municipal bonds and other tax-efficient instruments for stable income. By maintaining this foundation of stability, he can afford to take bigger risks with his venture investments. "If you're going to take bold bets, they're going to be experiments," Bezos has said. "And if they're experiments, you don't know ahead of time if they're going to work." For individual investors, this suggests maintaining a core portfolio of stable investments as a foundation while allocating a percentage to higher risk opportunities based on your personal risk tolerance. Looking across Bezos's diverse portfolio reveals key principles any investor can adopt. Bezos thinks in extremely long time frames. "I like to work on things that have a 10,000-year time frame." This ultra-long-term thinking fundamentally changes how he evaluates opportunities, focusing on enduring human needs rather than quarterly performance. For your own investments, adopting even a 20 to 30-year perspective instead of worrying about monthly performance can dramatically improve your decision-making. Ask whether a company is solving problems that will matter a decade from now, not just this quarter. Bezos uses what he calls the regret minimization framework when making decisions, imagining himself at age 80 looking back on his life choices. "I knew that when I was 80, I would not regret having tried this. I would regret never having tried at all." Before making significant investment decisions, ask yourself, "Will I regret not participating in this opportunity when I look back in 20 years?" This question helps distinguish truly meaningful investments from merely trendy ones. Bezos also manages investments across 3 time horizons: current cash-flowing investments, emerging opportunities with clear paths to profitability, and experimental investments that might not pay off for decades. This ensures both current income and exposure to future opportunities. One consistent pattern in Bezos's investments is his preference for platforms over individual products. Amazon evolved from an online bookstore to a platform for all e-commerce. Uber, Airbnb, and Blue Origin all connect multiple stakeholders and become more valuable as they grow. For your own investments, look for companies building platforms rather than those selling products or services that can be easily replicated. Bezos also distinguishes between what he calls missionary and mercenary companies. Missionaries are founded to solve real problems their founders care deeply about, while mercenaries are founded primarily to make money. I strongly believe that missionaries make better products. They care more. There has to be a business that makes sense, but that's not why you do it. You do it because you have something meaningful that motivates you. For individual investors, this suggests evaluating not just a company's financials, but its leadership's authentic commitment to its mission. Companies driven by genuine purpose tend to make better long-term decisions. While most of us don't have billions to invest, Bezos's principles can be adapted to any portfolio size. Start with your own personal AWS, the area where you have unique insights because of your work, experiences, or interests. What industries do you understand better than the average investor? What emerging trends are you seeing in your field before they're widely recognized? Your specialized knowledge can give you an edge in identifying opportunities others might miss. Consider applying a 70/25/5 allocation strategy. 70% in stable investments like index funds and income-producing assets, 25% in growth-oriented but established companies, and 5% in high-risk, high-reward opportunities. This provides stability while still allowing exposure to potentially transformative investments. The key is making sure your high-risk investments are ones you can afford to lose without jeopardizing your financial security, notes investment strategist Rebecca Thompson. That's how Bezos approaches his venture investments. Rather than trying to select individual early-stage companies like Bezos does, identify the macro trends he's betting on: cloud computing, healthcare innovation, space technology, clean energy, digital transformation, and find ETFs or public companies with significant exposure to these themes. Allocate a small percentage of your capital to opportunities you'd regret missing if they transform society. You sleep well at night, money, not because it's safe, but because you won't lie awake wondering what if. About transformative trends you believed in but didn't invest in. When studying Bezos's approach, avoid common mistakes. Don't focus only on his high-risk investments while ignoring the stable foundation underneath. Don't confuse his ability to see implications of technological trends with privileged access. Be honest about where you are in your financial journey. If you're still building wealth, focus on reliable growth rather than moonshot investments. Remember that while diversification is generally sound advice, Bezos's greatest wealth came from extreme concentration in Amazon for many years. Diversification preserves wealth, but concentration builds it. Consider whether certain investments in your areas of expertise might merit larger allocations. The most valuable aspect of studying Bezos's investment approach is understanding the mental models he uses to evaluate opportunities and position himself for long-term success. The thing about inventing is you have to be both stubborn and flexible, Bezos has said. The hard part is figuring out when to be which. This balance, maintaining conviction in your fundamental thesis while adapting to new information, defines successful investing at any scale. The true secret of Bezos's investment success isn't his access or resources, but his willingness to think differently, act on conviction, and maintain a genuinely long-term perspective in a world obsessed with immediate results. As Bezos himself puts it, if everything you do needs to work on a 3-year time horizon, then you're competing against a lot of people. But if you're willing to invest on a 7-year time horizon, you're now competing against a fraction of those people. Just by lengthening the time horizon, you can engage in endeavors that you could never otherwise pursue. In your own investment journey, consider how extending your time horizon might open opportunities others miss, and how thinking like Bezos, even on a much smaller scale, might transform your financial future.